Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monaco, home of thrills, spills and drama at a level not seen anywhere else all season. It is always an intriguing race and always an action-packed affair here, as you just never know what's going to happen around the next corner, and with overtaking being so difficult, the brave are ordered around here, some more often than not, and those who just run out of talent on the day can run out of talent in a very big way indeed. And Maestro didn't run out of talent last season. He led the race fantastically well from start to nearly to the finish, as a puncture robbed him of victory with 2 laps to go, and a puncture that proved heartbreakingly decisive on the day, and just demonstrating how this race can be defined by the smallest of margins. It's KGives F1 here in the commentary box for you, as usual today, for the 6th round of Season 7. And it's the Mighty Midget who, on this circuit that I've previously mentioned as being very, very difficult to overtake on, has put himself in the best position to claim victory today. A 1:12.4 was his pole time in what was an all-important qualifying session. Maestro in his Haas has lined up alongside him on the front row with 1:12.5, a tenth and a half off of the Mighty Midget's benchmark. But Maestro has put himself in a very good position to challenge at least for the victory and to right the wrongs of Season 6. Azar in his Ferrari is just 6 thousandths away from the front row down in P3, so he'll maybe be hoping for a better run in the race, and he's put himself in the mix as well to potentially be in contention by the checkered flag. You see now Mighty Midget lining up on the grid, and we're about to cross over to the grid to get this 39 lap race underway as we're on board with Luke with 5 red lights above us. It's lights out and away we go here in Monaco. It looks like the guys ahead are all fairly static. Casey has certainly got the measure of his teammate into turn 1, and as they all flood through Saint Devot, it looks like it's status quo out front with Mighty Midget, followed by Maestro, followed by Azar, Casey, Luke and Sam as they head up Beau Rivage and into Massenet for the first time. Luke with a little bit wide through Massenet, but pulls it back in time for the apex of Casino Square, and it is indeed status quo out front as the Mighty Midget leads them away on lap 1. On board now with KGives GP, who started down in P17, going up the inside of Vapid, and as you can see, for the guys up front it's fine, but for the guys behind there's a massive bottleneck into Saint Devot. Fortunately everyone seemed to make it through fairly unscathed there, which is a very, very good effort for here. In fact, I can't remember a season like it, to be fair, and as you see it was actually getting pretty tight there between Luke and Nor at turn 1, and Perez managed to gobble up a place as well, moving past Sinan at the apex of turn 1, and Perez now up in P7, Sinan down to P8, and Jaxter, as you can see, P9 as well. So that is pretty much the top 10 at the minute as well, and Sinan bites straight back at Perez down the inside in the Mirabeau. Great move there from Sinan, recognising that when you get a chance to overtake at Monaco, you have to take it, because you never know when a move's going to crop up again, as you see Sam putting that to good effect and going down the inside of Luke. Luke jumping across the curb at the Nouvelle Chicane, hanging on to P5 for now. Sam in P6, and I think Casey's got ahead of Azar in all that as well. As you saw Azar there down in P4. Meanwhile, Maestro has managed to pass the Mighty Midget for the lead. So Maestro, the man who nearly won last season, has taken the lead early doors here, lap 9 of 39, and we have a safety car deployed as well. So Maestro now becomes the pace setter until he reaches the safety car. You see Casey 3rd, Azar 4th, Luke 5th, Sam in 6th place, Sinan 7th, and Perez 8th. So it's pretty much as you were at the end of lap 1. Feely making his way up into 9th, and EIusiveKev P10 as a Sal with 2 cars in the points at the moment. As we go on board now with Scott, who then hits the wall. prototypBudgiE out of this race behind the safety car as well, so very disappointing for Scott. And on a day where you would imagine where the attrition rate's going to be high, for someone like prototypBudgiE, staying in the race has to be goal number 1, and unfortunately he hasn't managed to do that. As we see now, a load of cars on lap 9 under the safety car, filing into the pits, trying to get rid of their ultra soft tyres that would have qualified on, and moving on to a set of super softs. Degradation, because there's not a lot of cornering forces here, is usually very, very low indeed, so I'd imagine those that have switched to the super softs now might well indeed be able to go to the end of this race on that tyre. It'll be very interesting to see. But on lap 12 now, Maestro, our race leader, makes the restart and makes contact with the Mighty Midget. He's got that all wrong, Maestro, and the Mighty Midget looks to try and take the lead back off of the Haas driver, but can't quite do it. Somehow there, Maestro's hung on to the lead. It looks like the Renault's going to have a go at the Toro Rosso now into Saint Devot, but no cigar there. Maestro very, very nearly lost the lead as he made a hash of that restart. But well, it seems to be luck on his side today, and he's managed to hang on to that just when it was most important. And can he pull a gap now out front, as we see on board now with K Gibbs all over the back of EIusiveKev. And EIusiveKev gets it all wrong into Sam de Vries, hits the wall, and K Gibbs is now elevated into the point scoring places and will pick up 1 point as it stands. As we see behind that particular battle, the replay now, the two Williams going hammer and tongs, and Feely behind Drastic Midget looking to get into the action as well as they head towards Sam de Vries at the restart. Feely down the inside, ambitious move there as we see Kev stricken Sauber, and Drastic Midget got out of the way because Feely was coming through there with almost no regard at all. Great move from him. Brilliant stuff from him there. Great racecraft. As we see the battle now holding up between Casey in third, Clippers in P4, and it looks like Sinan's going to have a look down the inside in the Mirabeau once again, the second time in this race. This time hasn't worked out quite as well for him as he makes contact with Clippers. Sinan and Clippers both coming to grief at Mirabeau, and well after Sinan made that move stick earlier on in this race into Mirabeau, then, you know, all fair play to him for having another go and giving it a bash this time, but it managed to make the move stick on Perez, didn't manage to make it stick on Clippers. As we see Feely down the inside of Drastic Midget. Drastic Midget doesn't see him come until late, and suitably Feely has hit the barriers there, and to be fair, I wouldn't really portion blame for Drastic Midget. Feely was just a little too late on that particular move, and it was just impossible to see him coming. And actually, I believe it was Drastic Devil, apologies, that Feely was trying to make a move on. Of course, because Feely was recently just past Drastic Midget anyway. Always get those two confused, particularly when they're in the same car as well. That doesn't help anybody out. So it was Drastic Devil who in fact got in the way there of Feely's move. And as I said, same as I mentioned before with regards to that, I'm not entirely sure I'd apportion blame to Drastic Devil entirely on that one, at least because Feely was a bit of a day late and $1 short on the move. And speaking of that, Luke's had a bit of a moment there through Mirabeau, got caught on the inside curb, or the inside gully, and Perez has gobbled up P7 there. So that's Luke demoted to P8, and that's K Gibbs now all over the back of the Renault on lap 14. And cutting to K Gibbs' perspective, you can see P7, and given that he started in 17th, that is what you'd call a result. K Gibbs of course couldn't qualify after connection issues during the qualifying session, meant that he had to sit it out, and there's no worse race to sit out qualifying than Monaco, of course. So he'll be pleased to be in the points at this point. And just as I say that, his race just crumbles and evaporates away from him as he hits the wall through to back. That's a right rear puncture for him, and that is disastrous. Looking like he was going to go to the end on those super soft tyres, as I mentioned. He made the pit stop behind the safety car, and now he's having to dive onto the into pit lane once again, moving to the soft tyres, I'd imagine, and is now going to have to try and go from the end to the end on those particular tyres. It will make his strategy a lot easier, but mean that track position has got away from him, and track position here is of course king. As we cut across now to the battle between Sinan and Sam. Sinan, of course, after making the move on Perez into Mirabeau and the slightly unconventional move, shall we say, on Clippers, it looks like Sam wants to return the compliment now and goes down the inside of Sinan into the Nouvelle Chicane. Good move there from Sam. Sinan didn't fight it too hard in the end. I think he knew that was a bit of a lost cause there in the end once Sam had the inside line. And K Gibbs has come out of the pits and hit the same wall as he did just a lap previous. So that's K Gibbs with another puncture now. And, well, he's going to run out of tyres at this rate. He's going to switch on to another set of super soft tyres. And they should go to the end, especially from here. And he's dropped it through Raskas. So he's down in a dismal 14th, and it's not getting any better for him. Sam is on the move here. He's going down the inside of Casey now into the Nouvelle Chicane. He's locked his rears. So very nearly contact there. Sam did so well to avoid contact as he just couldn't quite get enough alongside Casey to warrant any room. And well, that was very interesting. That was just like we saw as we see Drastic Midget making contact with the barriers, and that's Drastic Midget out of this race as SirLanex has clattered into the back of him. The man just had nowhere to go, and Drastic Midget is out of this race along with SirLanex, I believe, on that one. As we see Sam now looking to the inside of Casey Legend. We're back with this battle for P3, and Sam has made the move, sticking the Mirabeau. A little bit of contact with the wall on the outside, but Sam has still got the job done, and that's the move done on Casey. But the Renault's coming back at him through the corner with no name, and they're going to be side by side in the Portier. Casey with the high ground for the corner, Sam hanging out around the outside. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel stuff between these two, and Sam's got the better drive out of Portier. He's got the outside line for the tunnel, but has made that move stick eventually. And great move from Sam there, great racecraft from those two. And what I was mentioning just before Drastic Midget had his moment there is that and Sam's had a bit of a spin there and has gone undone all that work he had done previously. What I was going to mention a few minutes ago was that battle between Sam and Casey was so similar to what we saw with Feely and Devil just a few laps previous. But crucially, Devil turned in just as Casey did, to be fair, but Feely just didn't quite read it quite as well as what Sam did, just to justify my point I made earlier with regards to their particular scrap. But of course, no doubt we will go to the stewards on that front, as we see Maestro, race leader now, under some serious pressure from the mighty midget. The mighty midget Nat Toro Rosso, no doubt ruining the missed opportunity he had at the restart to try and get past Maestro and take the all-important track position in the lead of this Monaco Grand Prix. And so, as a result, he'll be even more desperate than ever to make a move stick. And speaking of making a move stick, here we go now, we're on board, or at least following Azar in P6, but it's the battle ahead we want to see between the Ferrari and the Renault, and we've cut away from it. I saw the Renault just hopping across the chicane there at the Nouvelle chicane. It looks like they're side by side heading towards Tabac. We're looking at the wrong people at the minute, unfortunately. It'll be interesting to see how that particular battle shakes its way out. We see Luke there as well, we briefly down in P8, so a difficult day for Luke. Hasn't got any better in the period of time that we've been waiting to cut back across, and I believe this is a replay, in fact, of that battle I was mentioning just happening just out of view between Sam and Casey. Casey on the outside, Sam on the inside of the Nouvelle chicane. He's further alongside than ever this time. He's gone a little bit wide in the exit though. Casey, I think, hopped across the curb there, but as the end has given the position back to Sam. I thought he might, because he just had to bounce across the escape road there. And fair play from Casey, gives the position back, and I think he's going to lose out to Sinan, is he? No, he places his car very well, but Sinan gets the cutback. Brilliant stuff there from these guys, and the two of them are very close there through the swimming pool. You can hardly get one car through there, let alone two, and they just about emerged unscathed, as we see Kev not so unscathed through Tabac. Has got a bit of front wing damage and is down in P11 anyway, so what looked like it was going to be a non-score for Kev has just got that little bit worse. As we see, crucially, the man in second place, the mighty midget, is out of this race. He's hit the barrier at Casino Square, and that is a big let off for Maestro. We saw how under pressure he was from the mighty midget, and now Maestro's got a massive lead out front, and you'd imagine he's not about to give that away anytime soon. As we saw briefly there, Kay Gibbs hitting the wall at Anthony Node and losing his spot on P10 in the particular race, and that's gutting for him, but he was only on for a point anyway, so not a lot to be lost there. As we see, Sinan made a move on Drastic Devil, only to clip the inside wall at Tabac, and is spun round and recovers at least. But Drastic Devil now in just a two-way fight between him and Azar, behind Azar down in P7, and Luke obviously not having the best of days either. It's a tricky day for both of those championship contenders, as we see Sinan, just a replay of that in fact, clipping the wall at Tabac. It's so difficult to make overtakes stick, as I mentioned around here, and when you try and overtake, you just put yourself in so much jeopardy. As we see now Luke trying to recover his day, going for a move on Perez into Sandevot. Perez backs out of it. Luke takes that place, bit of contact with the wall on the exit, but he won't mind a jot because he's now in P4 and is surely going to try and hunt down Casey in third. Casey and Sam seem to have been split up a little bit since their really epic battle we saw earlier. And as we check back in with the battle for P6 now, Drastic Devil versus Azar. We've seen last lap, of course, Sinan trying to make a move on Drastic Devil into the Nouvelle chicane. Devil looked like he tried to cover it, but covered it too late, and Azar's down the inside, clips the barriers though, and that's the second time in this race that Drastic Devil's turned in at the Nouvelle chicane, and he's left his opponent with nowhere to go but clipping the wall. And I wonder if that might influence the steward's decision on that one. It looked like he left enough room to be fair from his perspective. So to be fair, again, it's a similar scenario, I'd say, to the incident with Feely as we cut back a few laps later as Azar's caught back up to the back of Drastic Devil. I thought we were watching a replay. We weren't. We were back with live action, and Azar's got the move done on Drastic Devil. Drastic Devil has spun out in the process though, and has dropped back behind Sinan. So many would say justice may be done from their earlier scrap, but Azar's made the move stick, and Drastic Devil drops from P6 to P8, and that's a disappointing turn of events there for him, as he was looking good for a 6th place finish, which would equal, which is actually better, his best result of the season. We're going to see another replay of that particular incident now. Azar going to the outside which he very rare. It's so difficult to make a move on the inside of the chicane, let alone the outside, but he get on the brakes so much later than Drastic Devil. And Drastic Devil and the Williams really did have no answer in the end, clipping the barriers and dropping himself down a few more places. And following Drastic Devil. Now he's hit the curb going into the swimming pool, collided with the barriers on both sides, and that is his race over. You wonder if he was just trying too hard after losing out on those two positions to keep up with those guys ahead who were ultimately quicker on the day. And speaking of quicker on the day, no one has been able to compete with Maestro in these last few laps. Of course, the Mighty Midget, as was in qualifying, the only man who you could have thought would have been able to match him on pace, or even better him on pace, and we saw how much he was just hassling Maestro after the safety car very nearly took the lead of this race. But for now at least, Maestro has got this one covered. But of course, remember, last season, season 6, with 2 laps to go, he seemed like he was on for a victory, and a puncture cruelly stole it away from him. He came to Monaco hoping to right those wrongs of the part of the season previous, and he most certainly has done that. Yet to pick up a win, of course, in season 7. He's a reserve this campaign, but well, a reserve that has certainly made a big impact on this championship. And one of the hardest racetracks of the season, Maestro has proved his skill and talent and wins the Monaco Grand Prix in sublime fashion. A great battle with the Mighty Midget, but one that ultimately ended in disaster for the Toro Rosso man and the exit of the Casino Square barriers. Luke recovers to P4, and given that he was P8 on one of the hardest circuits to overtake on just a few laps previous, I'm sure he'll take that as a result, and of course beating Azar as well, who finished P6 in the end, I believe. And as we see, EIusiveKev crosses the line for P9 despite all his adventures. Just to run you through the order there, Maestro, as I mentioned, brilliantly winning the Monaco Grand Prix, and despite that mid-race safety car, he won by a massive 30-second margin. Of course, Sam in P2, we saw some fantastic racing between him and Casey. Really, the drivers of the day as far as racecraft goes. It was really stunning stuff from them. Luke, as I mentioned, P4. It was Perez P5, and Azar crossing the line in his Ferrari P6. Dropping from P3 on the grid, he won't be happy with that. But ultimately hasn't lost at least too many points, or at least as many points as he could have done to Luke in the championship. What it has done, of course, is close things up between the top two. We've got Azar now exiting or leaving Monaco on 94.5 points, and Luke just 1.5 points adrift of Azar in P2. Casey in his P3 slot that he inhabited for most of Season 6. He's there again on 79.5 points. Mr. Consistency there, sitting behind his teammate. We've got Sam, of course, 4th on 61 points. Sinan on 57, so they look like they were going to resume their battle as well from Season 6. It's carried over into Season 7 nicely. Nor on 54 points, and Jaxter on 44. I'm going to need to take a drink, as I've been talking for 20 minutes straight. And around Monaco as well, which is always something to talk about, and it's very, very difficult indeed to cram everything you need in, to be honest. I hope you've enjoyed this commentary, and nonetheless, guys, it's certainly been a race full of drama. We had Drastic Midget's crash with SirLanex, we had Drastic Devil's escapades, and very, very fierce battles indeed with Feely, Azar, Sinan, to name but a few. And of course that sensational battle between Sam and Casey. So very entertaining indeed. Maestro, the winner on the day. Brilliant stuff from him. And until next time when FormulaXbox will reconvene in Canada, it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.